Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for March 7th, 2021. So, I've tried to film this like 4 times. I am distracted this morning. I think I'm just not awake. I don't know. This week was really slow. It was a long work week. Not because nothing was wrong. Nothing was bad. Nothing like happened. It's just, I was at work and I just wanted to be home. I just didn't want to be there. It also is a week that I've realized that there is something wrong with the way I'm reading. I don't know if I can continue the way I've been doing this. Again, I've switched it up to be able to read multiple books at a time, and I don't think it's working for me. I'm having a lot of trouble not focusing. It's more picking up books or switching books to something else, and this is where I've always had trouble. I'm usually a reader who, you know, reads one book at a time physically, and then I might have an audiobook or an ebook also that I read at different times or in the car or have for the car or I work. And to have multiple physical books that I'm trying to read is not working, and I'm having trouble. So let's we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the books I finished, the books I'm in the middle of. And then kind of what I think my plan is going to be going forward, just because I need to do something. And it's because clearly what I'm doing isn't working for me. So I finished on Sunday, the 28th of February, I finished 9 Coaches Wedding by Mary Stuart. So this was published in 1958. This is one of her romantic suspense novels. I think it's the third. I think it's the third of them. Anyway, I'm trying to read them in order. A publication. Anyway, but this is of the two. I started last year or the year before. After I got these new Hogarth copies. I have really old copies that I have handed down to me from my grandmothers and my mom, extra copies and things and stuff I found at used bookstores. So they're all pretty old copies, but I got these really nice new ones because they were just so cool and I couldn't help myself. But I want to read them because it's been a long time since I read a lot of these stories. There's certain ones I've read multiple times since my teens when I first read them. But this is one I only remember reading in my teens and I've never picked it up again. So this is a story about Linda who becomes a governess to a 9-year-old boy named Philippe in France. He lives on a winery. His family owns a couple of wineries, so that is their business. And he is set to inherit because he is the son of the oldest of the brothers who run the stuff. So he is left with his aunt and uncle when his at a certain point after his parents were killed, anyway, so he's an orphan, but he lives with his uncles. So he's living with his aunt and uncle this time, and not just his other uncle who technically who's supposed to have him, but he's on a business trip kind of thing. So she comes in to help, and she kind of notices there's something weird going on, and some accidents start to happen that put Philippe in danger. And so now she is the only one who is pretty much out to protect him from everybody else because she doesn't have anybody to trust, even her romantic interest. So I really enjoyed this one overall. This is one that I did not get along with all that well through the middle. And then I DNF'd this last March during COVID because I was just not enjoying it enough to continue, even though I stopped at a really good point. I don't know why I did that, but I think it was really COVID. And I just started rereading books that I remembered that I really loved. And series, I was rereading series. I just started over that series. So, but now it's 11 months after I started it. I finished it, and I'm glad I did because it really got good in the end. I can see why a lot of people love this one. Again, it is not going to ever be one of my favorites of her books. I think there's certain things that just didn't resonate with me like they do with other people. But I really enjoyed it. I liked the way the main character has doubts about everybody and everything, and I think it was very realistic in that way. I personally guessed the villain, but again, I can't tell if that was because I remembered from when I read it before, or I guessed it. I don't know. kind of, it's hard to tell because again, it's been many decades since I read it the first time, but I'm really glad I read it and I finished that. So I can now continue on to the next book in publication order and continue my reread. So again, as I said, I'm hoping to pick these up every few months. Just, again, it took me a long time to get back to that one. So now let's talk about the books that I'm in the middle of. Oh, wait, before I talk about this, I forgot. So it was really funny is that right here in the book, and again, you have to understand that, you know, there's action and there's, you know, there's stuff going on that the main characters are running from somebody at one point. And she mentions the 39 Steps by John Buchan, which I just read a couple days before I finished this book off. So that was really funny. So, because that's, again, a venture mystery published in 1915, and it's pretty, you know, it's pretty popular. And I still think that's just awesome that it was mentioned in there right after I had read the book. Like, I would not have understood the reference except that I just read the book. It was really awesome. And I do want to mention I haven't cleared my board yet because, again, the only thing I finished this week was from last month, and I'm going to do my stats video for later this week. I did add modern classics in here. I counted the 39 Steps by John Buchan. I would consider that a modern classic. I didn't even think about that last week. Maria at MH Books reminded me, so I made a check mark for that. And then this is considered beloved modern classic. So I actually did get some classics completed in February. I just wanted to show that off. So the reason I haven't cleared the board, other than I'm going to use it for my stats video, is that I have not completed anything since. So that, again, I'm reading 5 books right now, and it's not going well. So let's talk about the stuff that is first, or we'll get more into why it's not working, as I said. So I'm still reading the ebook A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine at work. I'm really enjoying this science fiction book. I am so glad I picked this up. I picked it up on ebook for really cheap at some point this year. And the next book has just come out. I think it's a Desolation Called Peace, something like that. Anyway, if this continues, the way it's going, I'll definitely be getting that one either from my library or also buying the ebook or something. I really am enjoying this. Main character is an ambassador from a small colony, like station out in space. You know, like they don't live on a planet; they live on a station. And she's there, you know, as a representative for her country to the Empire. And so she's at the big city where the Empire is located. And she is going there after she had found out that there's something happened with the ambassador that she's replacing. And turns out he has died, but she's not sure if it was, you know, by an accident like they're claiming, or if it was something else. And so we have her being dropped into this situation where she doesn't really know what's going on, and she was supposed to have something called an imago, which kind of is like a version of the last ambassador that would be able to tell her things as she was going along, but she's lost that ability due to some weird things. It's just a really weird concept. Anyway, really enjoying this book. I like the way there is a lot. It's really a political. There's a lot of stuff going on here, like nuanced stuff, and then also there's some action stuff in here too that I didn't expect. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm hoping to finish this. Well, okay. So I've only read like 150 some pages, and it's like 460 pages. So I have like 300 pages left. So I don't think I'm going to finish it reading it on my breaks at work. It just isn't going to happen. But I think I'm going to get farther into this. I think once I get about halfway, this might become one of the books I want to read when I get home from work. We'll see. I'm pretty sure I'll get to that point because I'm really enjoying it and I want to know what happens and then be able to get the next book probably from my library, but we'll see. So that one I'm doing pretty well at. As I said, I don't read a whole lot at work. I read, you know, maybe 10, 20 pages. It matters who leaves me alone at lunchtime. But I'm making slow progress in that one. And I'm fine with that one being slow. So I'm not too concerned about that. So let's talk about one of the ones let's talk about one that is still going well for reading partially, and that I'm reading this a chapter a day, and that is Barchester Towers by Anthony Trolp. This is book 2 in the Chronicles of Barchester. And again, I'm doing a read along on Instagram to get the whole series done this year, which is kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm gonna try. So if I read a chapter a day, I get it done within the 2 months that we have to read this book. Again, The Warden only took 1 month because it was pretty short, and then all the rest of the books, because they're really long, they're all really long, we're gonna do them within a month, or 2 months, sorry. So we have 2 months to read them. So this was February and March, so I am now about 200 pages from the end. I'm getting closer. Yeah, I'm just, well, maybe a little bit, maybe I'm a little beyond, I guess I'm a little less than that now. So, but I'm almost reaching the point of 3/4 of the way through. So that I'm supposed to reach by the 15th and then continue it out. I'm a little ahead because I've read a couple extra chapters yesterday just to get myself a little bonus, because I have a tendency that this is the book that I don't pick up at night if I'm really tired. I don't want to read the 6 to 16 page chapter. Just some days I just don't feel like it, so I made sure I have a kind of a buffer. But if I read it a chapter a day, I'll be done with it this I think about, I don't know, like 7 days early right now, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, but this is about politics, church politics in Barchester, where a new bishop has come in, and they're not jiving with people who are already there of certain things that are going on. So it's very character driven and there's things that people say and do. It's kind of hysterical. I mean, not hysterical. It's really funny in certain ways, and it's also frustrating when people just don't talk. They're being polite, so they don't actually come out and say certain things, and then other people just rip other people to shreds with a couple words. It's a very interesting story. Anyway, so I am enjoying that, and I'm going to continue, as I said, and finish it out this month. So this one I'm not having my trouble with this, because I've been doing that for, I guess, for a couple months. Anyway, so, but I would say this is one of my problems, and this is kind of my, I don't know. So, I'm listening to the audiobook of Red Comet, The Short Life and Blazing Arts of Sylvia Plath by Heather Clark. So, I started this in November for Nonfiction November when I got the book from the library, and then I decided to get the audiobook, which is narrated by Laura Jennings. So, really good. This book is really intense, though. So I'm not even really that far. It feels like I've been reading forever. I'm at 190 pages. So, so I read 92 pages in November and then set the book down. So I almost have 100 pages done this last week, but I had to shut the audiobook off because it was too much all the time. So I don't know how those people who are reading it feel, but I feel like I can't listen to this all the time. Like, it depresses me on going back to college, at least in the part that I'm in. Like, some of the things she talks about college, and again, super differences between when she was there in the early 50s and when I went in the 90s. So it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just hard for me to listen to it. And again, you also know that certain things are going to happen. So I think I already have like that worrying about how that's all going to play out and how we're going to see that in here. So I am continuing to do this, but I think I'm going to have to, I have to let myself have breaks. So I did not listen to this on Friday, Saturday, or today. I'm going to try to restart on Monday and try to get through a few days, and then maybe I just take the weekends off, or I don't know. I just can't do it all the time. I can't. And I listen to it only in my car right now. And I don't want to listen to it when I get home either. I just haven't. So I don't know. This is, again, wonderful biography. I think written really well. It's just so intense in the detail. Like, I don't know how there's just so much detail here on her life, and it's just amazing. But it also is very, very hard to continue that, like to sustain listening to that for too long. So I don't know how long I'm gonna get through that. So I'm having trouble with that, with the audiobook. Again, I've decided that I'm just gonna, okay, I am reading that for March of the Mammoths, which is put on by Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, Alex at Bigalbooks, and Lukas at A Cruel Reader's Thesis. So I have 2 books for March of the Mammoths, and that one I'm just gonna say that's probably not gonna get done in the month. I think I still have 25 hours, and the way I'm going right now, I'm not going to be anywhere near that, I think, this this month. I think it's just going to have to carry over. I think it's going to, as I said, I think it's going to be one I dip in and out of and get a little bit done every week, but I'm not going to, I can't go full force. My brain just is not allowing me to do that. So I have to listen to the radio, or, you know, Sirius XM is what I'm listening to in my car all the time. So anyway, so that's part of my reading issue, is the audiobook. I just think, again, I go through phases with audiobooks anyway. I think that's my problem with that. So my other mammoth is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is translated by Robin Buss from the French. Oh my God, I love this book already so much. I am 300 pages in. I'm a little ahead of my ready read-along group. They're not too far behind, but yesterday I could not put the book down. It was just so good. And where I stopped is where our next check-in is. So I'm gonna have to go on there and on our Voxer group and say something. I'm reading this with a group of people, and I'm just enjoying that as well. It's just great. It's just I'm having trouble holding to the schedule that even I put in place that I wanted to read 40 pages a day. And most of this week, that worked. That was perfect. That's all my brain could handle, because again, the work week was weird. And, but this weekend was just like, as I said, I think I'm reading too many books, and my brain was just like, just focus, just focus. So I read a couple extra chapters in Barchester Towers to get ahead there, and then I just read this. So yeah, I'm a couple of days ahead on this. I think I'm in the middle of where I should be for the 8th. So I'm only like a day and a half ahead, but I'm a little ahead. So again, this is following the story of Edmond Dantes, who as a young man is imprisoned with wrongfully by or in a way that I don't know. I don't want to explain this. It's Three Musketeers. I'm still trying to come into terms how much you want to say and how much you don't. So I mean, again, it's a classic. He is imprisoned at a very at a time where everything is perfect for them. Everything is going his way, and then jealousies and cruelties lock him up in prison for many years. And so we follow that, what happens to him and what happens to all those who are involved at that time when he was arrested. And oh, as I said, this is just great. Again, Alexander Dumas is one of those authors. I'm still trying to read a lot of his books. Three Musketeers has been on my top 10 list like since I was a teenager, when I read it on my own for the heck of it. And I've read that book several times, and I'm still trying to read the D'Artagnan romances. I am sad that I didn't get through those before I got to this, but again, this is wonderful so far. Again, I'm not even a quarter of the way through yet. Pretty close. I'm like a couple pages off, but still, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. But it is so good. It is so fast paced. It's so plot driven. I mean, we do get, I think we do get to know the characters as it goes on, but it's very heavy on plot, and I don't know how he's going to sustain the action that he's gotten so far in the first 300 pages. Has just been bam, 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 and I don't know how he's going to keep going through the rest of the book. I am so curious that I just need to continue reading this. So here is one of my reading issues is I just want to focus on this one and not read anything else and not do anything. But I am in that buddy read, so I'm going to try to calm myself down and kind of slow it down and try to get back on track. We'll see. I mean, I still have this inkling I'm going to get to a certain point, and then this is just going to be my main read for everything, and I'm just not going to care. I just want to be reading it. So, I mean, I let myself yesterday read a couple of days ahead, as I said. but I'm going to try to curb it, but we'll see. I really want to read this, and I'm really enjoying this. It is definitely a book that is in my wheelhouse. This is what I want to read, and so far, I just love it. So then the other book that I'm reading, which is why I think I'm kind of going into this slump. Okay, so I don't want to call it. I read yesterday. I mean, I did that, but I started cutting stuff out. And I think it's because I was having trouble with the one book that I was really enjoying up until where I'm at right now. So I did, on Sunday, I did a try a chapter tag. I think I posted it on Tuesday, I think. Yeah, so that was to do for mystery books for March Mystery Madness. So that again is hosted by Lizzyfayelovesbooks, Elizabeth, and a lot of other people. So, again, I always take part in March Mystery Madness in some form, at least a book or two. And so I did a try a chapter of 4 of the books that were on my TBR that I wanted to try. And I put them in order of what I think I'm going to read them. So the one that won was The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. The beginning was just fantastic. I fell right into it. I enjoyed it right off. You're dropped in not knowing a thing, but the main character has not a clue either. He comes to running in the forest yelling Anna. So, and then we don't know, we're kind of thrown in there. So again, this is a mystery about who killed Evelyn Hardcastle, and the main character has to figure it out by, he gets 8 days and 8 lives, or he gets put into 8 different people, and then has to try to figure out through those days who, figure out the mystery. So and he doesn't know who he's going to be next, kind of thing. And it was really, it's really good. The problem is I'm 234 in. It's like a 505 page book. So why I picked up another 500 page book, I don't know. Anyway, my problem is the character he is right now, who he's in the head of right now. And it's mostly because that man is not a good man, and it's not a morally gray issue either. It's ew. But again, that's just me. Well, no, I think a lot of people feel that way too. But my problem is it slowed me down. It just kind of stopped the momentum for me because I disliked that character so much that, again, the main character doesn't want to be that person either. He's stuck, and I get that. But it's hard for me to read that. Anyway, it was just more of my thinking the things that could go wrong because of him being that. It was just me being protective of the main character. Let's just be honest. I was feeling bad for him, and I didn't want to know what actually happened. So, I haven't read this since Friday. Did I read it Friday? I know Thursday I read it. I think I read it Friday a little bit. I don't know. But I kind of froze. No, I think I stopped on Thursday. I think Friday I was going to try, and then I didn't. And then yesterday, I was going to try to finish this book just to get it done. Yeah, didn't happen. I didn't even pick it up. Like, I looked at it and I went, no. I read about a couple paragraphs and I stopped. So today, because I got ahead on Barchester Towers and the Count of Monte Cristo, I would like to focus on this. I want to get, if I don't finish this today, I want to get really far into it, or at least past this one obstacle for me in the story. I think once I get past that, the book I'll still enjoy this book. I'm having some trouble here in the middle. So I don't know if I'm just the only one who stalls out like that. But this has kind of helped wreck my reading. So, as I said, I want to finish this book and get this done. So then I think what I'm going to have to do is cut back on how many books I'm reading. I just can't do this. Like, 5 books is way too much. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this book out, hopefully in the next, if not today, tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. And then maybe I'll finish A Memory of Empire, finish that out. And then I'm just reading my Mammoths and my Barchester Towers. And then maybe I can work a 4th book in. I just don't know. I feel like it's too many, but I don't want to, I'm trying not to read a bunch of the first couple of days that was working out really well. And I'd read my chapter in Barchester Towers, and then I'd read 40 pages in the Count of Monte Cristo, and then whatever the rest of the evening I would read out of this, and it was working. But I think what happened is when this stalled, it threw my mind and I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't want to start another book, first of all. So I just reverted to picking up one of those books and reading more than I probably was supposed to due to my schedule. But I don't know. So I'm in a kind of weird conundrum here because the audiobook, I'm just not going to finish that this month. I'm going to continue plugging away here and there, but it's just not, I can't do it every day. Just some days, like today, I didn't want to do it. Yesterday, I didn't want to do it. Friday, I didn't want to do it. So I'm hoping Monday, tomorrow, I can restart and at least get a couple days in before I need another break. As I said, today I want to try to get through a lot of this so that this is nearly done, or, you know, or get it done early this week so that I can maybe focus on something else. I don't know. But I have the biggest thing is I think at some point this is going to be my main read. I know. I don't know. I'm in a, like I said, so I don't know if that made any sense, and I don't know if there's anything anybody can do for me like that way. I feel like I can't, I have too many, it's not, again, not that I'm messing up any books. It's not like I'm not able to differentiate what I'm reading because everything is so different. And again, I don't usually have that problem anyway, but I really have, sometimes I hit a wall with a certain book, and if I have multiple books going, I will pick something else. I will read that other book, but I won't finish obviously the one that I'm stuck. Just because I don't want to read this next chapter. I'm already cringing just worrying about what's going to happen in this book, even though I know I need to get past it because I know it's going to change or things are going to happen. I need to know for the mystery, but I'm hesitating and I'm not doing anything about it. So anyway, this is what I'm going to try to do, is get through this. And again, I don't blame, it's not the book. It really, it's just me worried about the main character and want to be protective of him when he's in a situation I don't like. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood. And I just want to read The Count of Monte Cristo. So anyway, have you guys been reading any books? Have you guys had any issues? Or does this make, I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever. So I'm a little rambly today, clearly. I don't know. I'm not sure how this week is going to go. We'll see. As I said, I might need to cut back. I think it's going to happen. But again, it's so hard when they're big books and I don't want to read them like the whole time. I want to break it up. But I don't know if I can do that. Like, maybe that's just not, I mean, the Barchester, or for this one, it's working because I don't really want to read more than one chapter a day here and there. Mostly I just want to read it steadily and get it done. But it's also not action-packed, it's very character-driven. So maybe that's my issue, is that the other books that I really like are like, there's action and there's things happening and I want to know what happens, and I don't know. I'm just being weird. Anyway, so that was my week. That's my ramble. I don't know. So what are you guys reading? Are you guys taking part in March of the Mammoths? Are you taking part in March Mystery Madness? Is your reading going better than mine? Because again, it's not that I didn't get page counts. Like, that's not the problem. I just can't focus on anything right now. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get my, I don't know how to fix this. So I don't know. Now I'm just waffling. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.